her mom, Maya Van Wagenen, followed advice from a 1950s guide on how to be popular. This is a decision that pushed her comfort zone to the limit. Take a look.
You want to be popular. Turn yourself inside out as you would an old pocketbook. Shake out the dust and tidy up the contents.
The summer before my 8th grade year, we found Betty Cornell's Teenage Popularity Guide. My dad had bought the book over 20 years before, thinking it was an interesting piece of vintage pop culture.
I can't even begin to tell you how many times I nearly threw that book away. I think I'll just give it to Maya. She might be interested.
So my mom came up with the idea to follow the advice during 8th grade. I'd always wanted to be a writer, and so she told me, this is a great writing project.
Maya's always struggled in school, socially.
I'd always struggled to make friends, and I'd always struggled to find confidence, and so she'd hoped maybe this 1950s guide could have an effect on how I felt about myself.
It was not a book project as much as it was a survival project.
In Betty Cornell's Popularity Guide, she basically gives advice on a series of different chapters and themes, and those include everything from figure problems to good grooming, dieting, going to a dance, all of that.
But as it kept going, I saw the things that she was doing. I saw the clothes that she was going to wear, the skirts, the gloves, the hats.
As my heels were clicking on the sidewalk, it reminded me of the drum beats of an execution, and so I was really nervous.
I'd sit down with her and I'd say, Maya, you have a lot of nerve, you have a lot of guts.
They would ask various questions about what I was doing, and I always responded, well, it's for fun. That made it easier. So my dad, he was able to find Betty Cornell. I knew the face so well, and I said, oh my gosh, it's Betty! You found Betty!
This is the real you! Oh, isn't that nice?
She went from sort of being this imaginary friend in my head who's like, Maya, you need to sit up straight.
Most of the teachers have a southern accent too.
Yes. Then, she was a real person, and she's standing right there.
This whole Betty Cornell Teenage Popularity Guide experiment truly did change her life.
But it's up to you, when you read the book, to decide whether or not it made me popular.
On my thrill on Blueberry Hill.
Be downstairs and ready to go to the door when the bell rings. Do remember to introduce your date to your parents if they have not already met.
When I found you.
On a date, never put a boy in a position where he feels foolish. Don't ask to go somewhere he can't afford. Don't wear loud clothes or sloppy clothes.
1950s values may seem outdated now, but not for Maya Van Wagenen, the Texas teenager who's bringing pearls, posture and etiquette to a new generation. This is the book that inspired Maya's transformation. She embarked on an experiment, spending a school year following the book's advice, going from shy and quiet to the girl everyone was talking about.
I spent most of 6th and 7th grade keeping my head down, and so I only had a very small group of friends, and generally whenever someone stood out, it was fodder for bullying, basically. By the time I hit the clothing month, people knew that something was up. And so I think that got me the most attention as far as outward appearance goes, because I came to school in skirts and pantyhose.
Her own memoir, Popular, has been snapped up by DreamWorks, making Maya the youngest non-actor to have a feature deal with the studio.
Hello everyone, sitting here with Miss Alexis Blazik, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the book Popular, and it's a book that she just finished, and you actually came into the library and told us it's been your favorite Truman of all that you've read, right?
Yes.
So we kind of know the basis of Popular, that it was a social experiment that this 8th grade girl did, and so the students have watched that, but kind of tell us why you like this book so much.
I like this book because as I was reading it, I've never actually read a book about people writing diary entries about their life, and they're she's super, nobody likes her, and she's not popular at all, and they have this popularity scale, and she is actually in the negatives because of how nerdy she is. And then she gets this book from her dad and her mom about being popular from the 1950s. And so now, which she didn't really think about too much of it at first, she's like, well, it's from the 1950s. I'm not from the 1950s. and then she started reading it and forgot that it really helped her get popular. And it's
So you like it because it's a true story, right?
It's a true story, yes.
Yeah. So
Love it.
is the book kind of funny sometimes?
It is funny because a lot of times, like, because when she was doing her experiment and she was going around like at lunch and stuff trying to sit with other people, people thought she was crazy and they would say funny things and she would try to say funny things, start conversations, and it was really good.
Yeah. And do you think it had some sad portions too sometimes?
Yes, I did, because she was at her best trying to fit in, and people still made fun of her until the end.
Do you think that our students here could identify with her some?
Lots probably could. I mean, there's a lot of kids here that probably feel the same way that she's feeling. Like nobody likes them very much because they're just don't play any sports. They're just I don't know how to explain it. They're just not very
They're not
social.
in the cool crowd, so to speak. Yeah. Well, I love at the beginning, her friend says that school is the armpit of life. So I think sometimes students can definitely identify with that sometimes school's kind of a tough place to fit in, and finding your group can be kind of tough, whether you're in band or JROTC or an art student or a music student or a drama student. And sometimes if you don't have a group, it can be kind of tough. So yeah, it's definitely. Well, this book comes highly recommended. So come to the OJH Library to check out the book Popular by Maya Van Wagenen. We have several copies available. Okay, so when do we have kids next week?
Monday through Friday.
Okay, and then do we have library news too?
Yes.
Oh gosh, okay, so we're gonna be pretty busy.
Yes.
Okay, and then we gotta do a
We just recorded a video. We need to put it on the library news. Miss Smith! Oh my god! We need to put it on the library news. Yo! You don't put this in library news. You're gonna put it on, right? I can't get. We recorded it.
It's super lit.
Yeah. We were in it.
Oh my gosh, this is a video of you guys twerking.
But yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm sitting here with Mr. Andrew Mallard, and he came in today to actually ask me not to post that video on the library announcements. Why didn't you want that on the announcements?
It seemed like a good idea at first. It was funny at first. Then after like a whole weekend of thinking it through, I realized it was like super embarrassing.
Yeah. Do you think sometimes people post things online and social media and they think it's funny at the time and then
they realize that it's not?
Yeah. So hint to you guys, don't embarrass yourselves by posting things on the internet that are embarrassing. Actually sitting here now with one of the lead twerkers, Caleb Berg, and I wanted to ask you what you thought about the video.
So when I got there, I was like, okay, you know what, this is cool. You know, I bust the moves, you know, get down with it. And then me and Thomas were like, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's go post it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after a long weekend of thinking, I actually told my mom about it.
Oh, okay.
She disappointment.
Yeah. So she maybe thought you shouldn't put a video of you twerking on the internet.
So I told my mom about it, and she was like, why? And then I myself thought about it, and I was like, that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Did you know that when you go to get a job, one of the first places that employers go is social media to check out what you've posted, or when you go for college scholarships?
I do now.
Yeah. So it is a good lesson to know that anything you put online can later be found, and so you want to make sure and keep your digital footprint clean.
As guardian of the library books, it makes me really happy when students take care of their books and return them in the same condition they borrowed them in.
So sometimes books come back in conditions that I need to repair, such as this one. It's got a broken hinge there, so I have a special tape that I use to fix that, but obviously this is not okay. Sometimes they come back and the pages have got caught on something, and they're ruffled. This is a brand new book, and you can see there's already nicks out of some of these pages, and they're bent over. Sometimes they come back with torn pages. I hope you can see that. That's not readable in this shape. Sometimes the jacket gets caught on something, rips that. That's messy. And sometimes they come back like this. I mean, this has obviously been chewed on. You can see teeth marks. We probably showed that to you last year. But when books come back in this condition, and that makes me so sad. So I just want to give you a few suggestions that might help. I know a lot of you carry special backpacks that have a compartment just for your laptop to keep it safe. So I might suggest a special compartment just for your library book, so it's all by itself, because I think sometimes you jam and cram in a hurry and you might hit some other items in your backpack on the way in, and it ruffles the pages or tears the pages, tears the jacket. So another thing to keep in mind is to put it away from food and drink that might also be in your backpack. And then last two, at home, keep it up somewhere high, out of reach from maybe brothers or sisters, or even pets that you have in your home. So that way they come back to us in the same condition you checked them out in.